Do you feel like every time you go to record your acoustic guitar, it sounds like hot trash? I mean, you're over here going for Nick Drake, and your ears are telling you, man, that's a mistake. Do you feel like you are always falling short of the sounds on your favorite records? Fear not, my creative friend. Today, I'm going to tell you how you can get the lush, radio-ready acoustic guitar sound you crave from the comfort of your home studio. Welcome to Producing with Jimmy. I'm Jimmy, and this is the channel where we discuss all things creative because creativity is a way of life. Subscribe and hit the bell notification if you like this video, if you get something out of it, if you like this channel. It helps the channel grow and it helps me reach more DIY producers just like you. Before we get into moving mics around and playing with acoustic guitar sound in this space, I want to make it very clear. There is a growing culture on YouTube that is geared towards capturing your attention by offering you quick tips, hacks, and solutions, many of which are processing based, plugin based. And I believe this quick tip, shortcut hack culture is corrupting and stunting everyone's growth. It's very seductive to think that we are just one quick minute video away from understanding something that's going to revolutionize the way that we record, but it really does not work that way. This channel is geared towards helping you develop a philosophy that looks at the big picture when it comes to making recordings in a compromised home studio space. In other words, I'm not going to offer you some quick tip that's going to have some shocking result where now all of a sudden you're really good at this. I'm going to offer you a framework, and by indulging in this framework, you're going to find that you actually start to improve with this stuff. That being said, let me turn your eyes towards the pie chart of pro-sounding acoustic guitar recording. Isn't it wonderful? I mean, look at that chart. It's a beautiful chart. You can tell that it's an apple pie. The crust is very flaky. It's a little brown. I'm hoping it's not dry. So let's look at this breakdown. 50% is the playing. That 50%. That's going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. 50% of it is playing, okay? You got to play it good. 20% is the instrument, the actual thing that you're playing. Notice how the playing of the thing is more important than the thing itself. Isn't that amazing? All right, the pieces are getting a little smaller. We've got 10% is the room, the acoustic space that you're recording in. And then we've got 10% is the mic and the placement of the mic. 5% is the preamp. And the final 5% is the processing. This is it. This is the pie chart of pro-sounding acoustic guitar recordings. But wait, what's this? We've got a totally extra bonus chart. And it's a vanilla ice cream carton chart. Yay! Isn't it interesting that there's a whole other chart that is a whole other 100%, which is just your willingness to experiment, critically listen, and document what you are doing? It's amazing. And the reason why it's represented in a bonus chart is because you need to think about this as it's like a whole other separate thing, okay? You want to scoop that vanilla ice cream out of that carton and put it on top of that hot steaming pie. This pie over here with the pro-sounding acoustic guitar breakdown is really nothing without the vanilla ice cream melting beautifully on the top of it. All right, so let's break down the pie chart. First up, we have the playing. That represents 50% of the pie. So important. Ask yourself, is the part I'm playing well rehearsed? Am I executing it well? Do I understand sonically where this part sits in the arrangement that I'm recording? Are you comfortable enough to give a relaxed performance? If you're sweating bullets and freaking out that you're doing it wrong or you're going to mess it up somehow, you can't play it well. You gotta be relaxed. Wear comfortable clothing. Clothing that helps you feel free and uninhibited in your movement. And on that note, wear clothing that doesn't make a bunch of noise. Yes, denim jackets are wicked cool, but they're also stiff and they make rubbing sounds and they've got buttons and chains that slam up against the body of the acoustic guitar. No good. You can't go to record your acoustic guitar wearing chainmail and expect that the mic's not going to pick up a few jingles and jangles. Understand that the performance that you capture is the performance that you capture. You're not going to process away mistakes or flubs or bad arrangement decisions. That's not how this works. You are capturing what's happening. It's called a record for a reason. Engineer John Wood, who captured Nick Drake's legendary acoustic guitar sound, said that after Nick Drake died, all of these young guitarists were coming to him to engineer their records in hopes that they could duplicate Nick Drake's acoustic guitar sound. And in all cases, they left frustrated and disappointed. This is today's brain drill. The best mic in the world is not going to make you sound like a better guitarist than you are. You need to start thinking of yourself as the biggest tool in the room in any recording situation. For more on that, check out this video here. Moving on to the instrument, which represents 20% of the pie. You need to have a decent instrument, okay? That doesn't mean you need to spend $6,000 on one of those please ask for assistance guitars at your local music shop. But it does mean that there is a lower threshold. I don't know exactly what the number is. It's probably around, I want to say $100, where it's just a toy. And it sounds like a toy. Nothing you do to process it is ever going to make it not sound like a toy. So invest in an acoustic guitar that sounds good. Again, there are affordable options that genuinely sound and record well. It's just up to you to seek them out. When you find that acoustic guitar that you fall in love with, that you think sounds really, really good, get it set up. Get it properly intonated. Humidify it. Baby this thing, because this is 20% of the pie. This is 20% of the overall sound. Tune the guitar often while recording. Acoustic guitars are fickle with their tuning. If you're using a capo, tune to the capo. Better yet, tune to the chord that is the most dominant chord in the song. Really pay attention to tuning. I cannot tell you how many times I've heard acoustic guitar recordings where it's like, it's great, but if it was just in tune, that it would make it so much better. And finally, don't neglect to experiment with different strings. There is a world of strings out there, and nothing you do to that guitar is going to have a more profound effect on the tonal characteristic of it than the strings you put on it. This is a highly subjective thing, and it requires that you take that scoop of vanilla ice cream from the bonus chart and apply it to your guitar and say, I'm gonna take it slow. I'm gonna figure out what strings I really like. I'm gonna figure out which ones I think record really well. Moving on to the next slice in the pie, 10%, the room, the acoustic space that you're recording the instrument in. Acoustic treatment. It's necessary. I get it. It's not the sexiest thing you could invest your money in. If you haven't taken a frank assessment of your room and said, okay, what can I do to improve this situation? You have no business investing in anything else at the moment. Not new mics, preamps, forget about it. Nothing will improve your recordings faster than treating your room. You could have the most expensive studio monitors in the entire world, but if you don't have some kind of a treatment going on, it's almost like you're driving a Ferrari and you're in first gear, just like slamming on the acceleration and wondering why you're not improving faster. And you don't have to go nuts with it, but you've got to address it. There are so many ways to improve the acoustics in your room, even just by building your own stuff, which is what I have done in this room. Everything here was built by me, based on things that I researched, and I was able to save a lot of money doing it. A lot of us who are working out of these small rooms in our home studios are working in rooms that do not flatter recorded sound in any way. So your best strategy in most cases is to completely kind of remove the room and add it back in the processing stage. And if you can't afford to invest in a full treatment of your room right now, there are so many ways that you can improve the acoustics just with a little bit of foam here, throwing blankets up there, having a couch somewhere in the room. There's a lot you can do, and it's a whole world of learning that I highly encourage anyone interested in making pro-sounding DIY recordings explore. Another important thing with regards to the acoustic space, don't record in the middle of the room. There are acoustic phenomena related to the way that sound bounces around in every room that makes that middle part of the room usually the worst place you could possibly record. So, this is subjective too. Maybe in your room it sounds great. You've got to experiment to try. You got to get that ice cream out and put a dollop on that hot pie. Generally speaking, avoid that middle spot. I know from experience with treating my room that middle spot is the Bermuda Triangle of sound. It's horrible. There's nothing good going on there. So keep that in mind. Finally, and this may sound obvious, but you'd be surprised, AC units, refrigerators humming, noisy stuff. Try to record in a room where the noise is minimal, especially with acoustic guitar, because acoustic guitar is such a vulnerable, usually pretty soft sound. You're going to have to gain your mics up enough to capture the nuance of the instrument, and you don't want an AC compressor kicking on in the middle of a take going, I mean, it's a nightmare. You can't take it out later. Next up, another 10% of the pie, we've got mic and mic placement. You do not need a microphone locker filled with 100 vintage mics that you audition every time you go to record your acoustic guitar. You need one solid workhorse mic, a mic that works on multiple different sources for a wide variety of musical styles. For instance, this is a Peluso P87 condenser mic. I got this for $1,300. I could record an entire record with just this mic and it would sound really, really good. Your goal is not to understand every microphone on any source in any room. Your goal is to understand how your workhorse microphone works in your room on your instrument. To achieve this goal, you need to experiment. You need to pour time into understanding what this workhorse mic does. What does it sound like at various distances, at various angles? What do the polar patterns do to the sound? Take some time away from recording an album or a song to just play with your microphone in your room. So few DIY recordists will do this because it's so fun to just work on music. But you learn so much from taking even just a day, 6 or 7 hours of just recording your acoustic guitar with your microphone from different angles, different distances, different polar patterns, recording the result and analyzing it and learning from that analysis. No tip, trick, hack, or shortcut can impart this kind of real experience. That said, if all you can afford is a $100 SM57 mic, work with it. Pour yourself into understanding what this mic does in your room with your stuff. That's where real growth comes from. So we're getting down to the really small slices of the pie now, the 5%ers, preamps. The bottom line is most preamps, even the cheap ones, are good enough. You don't need a bunch of expensive preamps to get a pro sound. In fact, preamps are the kind of thing that you kind of graduate into. It's 5%. Finally, we've got the final slice of the pie, that last 5%, the processing. Many people think that processing is 50% of the pie. They get it backwards. But I promise you, if you've already satisfied all the factors in the pie chart, the processing is just a final, delicate sculpting process. And any amount of processing on an acoustic guitar is bound to be very subtle. It's really easy to manhandle and ruin an acoustic guitar sound. But if you've got a shitty instrument that sounds like a toy and you played it badly, you're going to be tempted to to get your hands in there and just like go like this with it to make it sound pro. And it's going to be really hard. Processing, if you've done everything else right, is really very gentle. That said, don't be afraid to go for a sound. If you know, for instance, that maybe the sound you're recording is a really loud velocity strummed driving part, you're probably going to process that with a little bit more aggression than you are a finger-picked part. It's okay to experiment and go for the sound that you're looking for. You're going to make mistakes, mistakes that are usually like you went too far and you need to dial it back. That's why we've got the bonus vanilla ice cream carton chart, because you've got to be willing to dig the scoop into that ice cream and just plop it down on your hot pie. And, you know, come what may. Maybe it's something you like. Maybe it's something where you say, I'll never do that again. The point is, experiment. Give yourself the freedom to experiment. It's not about quick tips. It's about experimenting and exploring. You're like a chemist in a laboratory, mixing things around and recording the result. Thinking about recording acoustic guitar in this way and satisfying the conditions of this chart will lead to a pro sound, especially if you are willing to experiment and listen critically. If you'd like to go deeper, join me on my new Patreon page, where I will show you step by step how to record incredible sounding acoustic guitar from your home studio. My Patreon is the place where, for less per month than a fancy cup of coffee, you will get exclusive weekly content to help you make better sounding recordings and become a more capable artist. It's also the most direct way you can support me in what I'm doing on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll subscribe and hit the bell notification if you like this video and you want to see more. Drop me a comment. Let me know how you record your acoustic guitar. Let me know of anything you want to see me cover on this channel. I hope you are pursuing your art, staying true to yourself, and breaking new ground. I love you guys, and I will see you next time.